let's say you're a caregiver for someone with a long-term illness, whether you're a therapist or a parent or a child, whatever, how do you find acceptance week after week, month after month? And so the way I like to tackle this and share with you is, first of all, with a story, an example. And I call it the flat tire analogy. Okay. So let's say you're driving along, going somewhere. Let's make it somewhere fun. Let's make it to go get some fresh donuts. So you can have some coffee when you get home. I am a donut and a coffee guy. Love it. And that's one of the things that brings me joy, that I really savor. And oftentimes I'm having the coffee and donut with my family. So you're on your way to get donuts, and all of a sudden you got a flat tire. Now, it's normal to feel resistant to that flat tire. Nobody sits there in their car and says, awesome, woohoo, I got a flat tire, right? It is absolutely normal and expected for the mind to think, darn, I got a flat tire, right? And there might be some resistance associated with that. Now, here's the thing. You can resist that flat tire for the next year and a half. And that resistance to the flat tire will not change anything. You can grumble about it, complain about it, use four-letter words about it, but the fact is that you've got a flat tire. So if we can move at least somewhat into acceptance, then we can say, yes, I have a flat tire. And that really stinks. I'm not happy about it, right? Those thoughts and emotions are still there. They are still valid. But we just want to make room so they're not just, all we see. So yes, I've got a flat tire, and what can I do about it? I can call AAA. I can change it, put the donut on. I can take a cab somewhere, just pull the car over if I need to, right? So accepting that you have a flat tire. Yes, I've got one, and what can I do about it? This gives you some power in the situation, and you're not stuck in that resistance mode. Now, I understand something like a flat tire is a short-term life experience, right? I try not to call them problems or issues. I try not to label it, which can be difficult. So looking at it as a life experience, going back to also like thoughts and emotions, right? It's something I'm experiencing. It's not me. It's not who I am. My thoughts and emotions do not define me. Taking that one step further, my life situation does not define me. Yes, it's going to affect my existence. If you're having problems paying the bills or problems with a flat tire, oh, see, I went and did it. I called them problems. Great real life example of how easy it is to do that. So back to my point, what do you do when it's a longer term issue that you're dealing with, something different than a flat tire? In my case, with my wife being sick for just about 5.5 years now. And on top of it, more things have happened since the fibro. She's had diabetes for years. Now she's got a fatty liver. She's got some kidney failure. She's having severe eye problems where we have to go to the eye doctor once a month, where she has procedures done to help her see. This is a lot. And I'm not sharing this to complain. I'm sharing this because you are in your own situation with your own set of life experiences and challenges. And sometimes it can feel like Jenga, right? Like real life Jenga. And there's all this stuff getting stacked on top of each other. And you're looking at it, you're like, how do I deal with this? Joey's saying to accept this. I don't want to accept this. Right? So how do we do this when things are long standing? And the answer is as best as possible. So let me explain this a little more. I don't look at resistance and acceptance as like two sides of the coin or black and white. I look at it as almost like a sliding scale, right? Remember back in the day when there was like equalizers on your stereo? I'm dating myself. So, there was a kind of a sliding scale, like from one end to the other, maybe with like resistance being on this end and acceptance being all the way here. And really, whether it's a short-term challenge or a long-term challenge, the expectation that we can get ourselves to a place of acceptance every minute of every day, day after day, for years, is unfair and unkind to ourselves. So looking at it as a scale, when we're observing that, yeah, I'm feeling resistant, I'm feeling upset or angry about this life situation. Observing it immediately gives us some distance from it. So we have a little bit of space to breathe. And then it's more about, okay, taking that breath, literally stopping and taking a deep breath. And feeling what that breath feels like in our bodies. And looking to be in acceptance as best as possible in that moment. Because the resistance might not go away completely. One of the methodologies I use to do this is it takes a couple minutes sometimes until it starts to become habit, and then it takes less time, and then sometimes it almost becomes unconscious in a good way. It just plays itself out as a habit, as a positive habit, where I'll say, okay, I am feeling resistant to this. Like, let's take my wife doesn't feel well, so she needs to lay down. And I see she's struggling. I see she's in pain. That's real hard to just accept. So I use the yes and philosophy. I say, okay, I'm feeling resistance to the fact that she's in bed feeling awful. Yes, I'm feeling this. And what can I do about it? Now, mind you, sometimes there is nothing you can do about it. Unlike the flat tire, right? That's an easy one. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes there is. So first, determining that needs to happen. So, okay, yes, I'm upset that my wife is sick in bed. And what can I do about it? Okay, well, I gave her some heat on her neck and her back. That helped her. I take her to doctors when I need to. I support her in whatever ways I can. Does it fix it? No. But at least I am being in awareness of what I am able to do. The hardest one is when you just feel powerless, right? That you feel like there's nothing you can do. Whether that's true or not, it's how it feels. And when that happens, one of the things you can do, again, is go to your breath. And it's not going to take the feeling or the trauma you're experiencing away from you or from the person you're caring for. But that breath helps you make space and helps connect you with your conscious self. Okay. And when you're in that more conscious place, more mindful, you can look at it a little bit more objectively. Again, it doesn't fix the illness or the issue that person is having. But when you look at that sliding scale, it's a little bit easier to accept things as much as you can in that moment.